Hello everybody and welcome back to another YouTube video. As always, I'm Timothy Kennedy and today we will be talking about How to Train Your Dragon live action. Look. So contrary to how I did Lilo and Stitch, I tried to learn my lesson this time, okay? I tried to tell myself, hey, guess what? I am not gonna go watch the animated cartoon version this time. I'm gonna go watch this movie, see how I feel about that, and then I'm gonna go watch the cartoon version and see how I feel about that. Now, I'm not gonna front. This was probably not the time to be able to do that because for the first time ever, a live action decided to say, hey, we are going to add just about this much when it comes to anything new when it comes to this movie. We are going to keep this at the core as close to the animation as we possibly can. And so whether I watched the original or didn't watch the original, it was gonna be the same thing nonetheless. But that did not change the fact that I genuinely think this thing was amazing. Dare I say, hold it. I love DreamWorks. I love Universal. I'm just saying, I think I might have liked this better. Stop it. I just think this was able to capture things that I didn't get from the animation in a different light. But we're going to talk about that right now. If you guys like movies and all things when it comes to the entertainment industry, please consider hitting that subscribe and liking. I appreciate you guys' support. And anybody new, join the movie gang, guys. We love you here. Anyways, let's get into the video, shall we? This movie was dope. Just in terms of just the actors that they chose, like, you know, the animation style that they did. You know, sometimes when you go into live action, especially when you have animated creatures being a part of it, i.e. Lilo and Stitch, things like The Lion King, The Little Mermaid, there comes a time where you start to wonder, hey, how is this animation gonna look when these guys were already animated in the first place? How is this gonna look when we are watching this now in real time? Because they have to look somewhat realistic, right? Well, in this respect, I think they did a fantastic job of how they made these dragons look. I never once saw Toothless or any of these creatures and said, it's giving fake, it's giving cartoony, it's giving, I don't know if this is real or not. So apart from the fact that I just loved how not only did the dragons look and how the characters look, but just the set design, the costuming, I mean, in my personal opinion, if there was an adaptation to being like, hey, this is how Burke would look, I just felt like they leaned into the cartoony, like, hey, this is a mystical, different world. And that's okay. It's a live action tape of a mystical animated world, and that is okay for me. I feel like sometimes the rough line when it comes to live actions, like they try to find this line where they're like, hey, like we want it to be live action, but we also it's still an animated film, so like we still want to keep that, you know, mystical, like anything could happen inside of it, but like they try to overtly make something super realistic. For instance, like Sonic. When we first saw what Sonic looked like, we were like, brother, what is this and who is this? I don't know who this man is, but this is not this, because in my opinion, I think they tried to make it as a realistic looking hedgehog, which it just looked like to me like a man in a costume. But then when they decided to dig into more to be like, no, let him be cartoony in this realistic world, it worked out better for them in my opinion. When they try to do Lion King, it's hard to make lions talk when considering like their jaws literally just go up and down. It's not like they can move it. But in my opinion, sometimes making animals look too realistic takes away the magic and the humanism and the way that we perceive them in the cartoon as cool looking lions that are acting and looking like humans. And so in this film, I didn't feel like they took away from the dragons to try and make them look as dragon as possible. I don't think they showed Toothless and tried to make him this fierce looking realistic dragon that would exist. I think they said, I'm going to literally take Toothless and just make him look like if he molded into the real world. And that's exactly how I saw it. The entire flight sequence, oh my god. And I think that is the thing that's taken me to make me like this film just slightly more than the animated film, because this to me is the purpose of live action. I know a lot of my friends are sitting there being like, why do I need to watch this when I have the animated version? And I'm like, why do you need to watch anything, dude? Like, the idea of this is to give it a new filter basically on top of it to see, hey, could you like this more than you like the 3D animated version? And watching that flight scene from the animated version to this live action version, I felt more like I could feel why Hiccup felt like he was flying through the heavens. It wasn't like, oh, this is an animated film and I'm watching a cartoon fly through the heavens. It was like, look what it could look like if I actually could fly on a dragon. Like, look how beautiful it was. Take away any form of realism, it was absolutely just like amazing to see. And to me, it was also amazing to see how VFX and how the things could look, because they blended it in so well that I can't figure out which part were the sets, which part weren't the sets, bro. Which part were they on the water? Which part were they not on the water? I thought Mason did a fantastic job as Hiccup. Not only did I feel like he embodied this awkward, quirky boy about Hiccup that he had in the original, but I also thought he just did an amazing job even sounding like the original voice actor who played Hiccup. And the way that they made Toothless seemed like such a dog. Like, their relationship was so gorgeous that it literally mimicked the cartoon. And I think that was my biggest gripe when it came to like Lilo and Stitch. I felt like a lot of the comedy, a lot of the Lilo and Stitch like vibes that they had in the original movie were stripped away. They were stripped away to appease like smaller children or to make different type of jokes. But I felt like we understood the funny parts of it. We understood the comedy of it, and they kept it that way. And I enjoyed that. Nico Parker, fantastic Astrid, bro. They gave her some really dope scenes and shots where you can clearly tell that this girl is a boss girl who would probably be an amazing dragon slayer if it wasn't for the fact that the idea of this entire film was to not be a dragon slayer. I did think that the cast, like the extra kids, you know, Fish Legs, Rough Nut, Tough Nut, and Snotlout, I definitely felt like they did get sidelined. Like, they definitely had their moments in the film, and I'm glad that they kept them, but I just for some reason didn't care as much for them. And look, I'm pretty sure during like the shoot they probably had a lot more time to build their characters, but they definitely played side character versus, in my opinion, in the animated film, where I felt like I knew them even more after the end. Like, to me, How to Train Your Dragon in an animated film definitely felt like it was a group collaborated movie and Hiccup was just the main leader, when in this one it definitely felt like, you know, Mason and Nico were like obviously the prime subjects of numero uno, and that's just what it was. But anyways, overall, I really enjoyed this film. I actually enjoyed it a lot more than I thought, because I do enjoy How to Train Your Dragon, but that's probably not one of my favorite DreamWorks franchise movies, if I'm being honest. So I was never really a super big fan, and I also didn't understand why they automatically greenlit a second movie even after this. I was like, don't y'all want to see how this does? But after watching it, I definitely understand why they're gonna make a second one, because I want to see the second one. I didn't end up watching the third How to Train Your Dragon. I think I am willing to wait, literally, to see how it comes off in the live action, because I enjoyed the live action that much. But anyways, that's all from me. Please comment down below, what are your thoughts on the animated version? What are your thoughts on this live action version? I would love to hear you guys, to see if you guys agree with me, if you disagree with me, other things you guys may have noticed. But anyways, I will see you guys in the concession stands. Peace.